Good day, learners. So the previous lesson that we talked about is the forms of ownership. Today we're going to talk about the pros and cons of the forms of ownership that we already discussed. So just to recap, what is forms of ownership? Forms of ownership defines who owns a business and how it operates. So how it does its business day to day. The different types of include sole proprietorship, partnership, private companies, public companies, and cooperatives. So the first one that we're going to talk about is sole partnership, which means there's only one person that is responsible for the business. So the pros are it's easy to start and manage, which means you don't have to be set up with all the legal paperwork that goes with starting a business, full control over decisions, and keeps all the profit. The cons are responsible for all the debt, so if you make the debt, you have to pay it. There's no way out of it. And heavy workload, limited growth opportunities. The next one that we're going to talk about is partnership, which means it's owned by two or more people. The pros are shared responsibility. So it doesn't normally go where the single partnership, it comes down to one person. But if you go to partnership, it means it's divided between different people. So the workload doesn't come up to you. More ideas and skills, and easier to get funded. Cons are profits must be shared, possible disagreements, which is going to lead to conflict in the business, and if one partner leaves, business could struggle. So the reason for that is if one partner decides to leave and take all the capital, the business is going to struggle because where's that capital going to come from if it's not from that partner? Next one we're going to talk about is private companies. So it's owned by shareholders, not publicly traded. So the pros are limited liability. The owner's personal assets are protected. So it means if the business falls and the bank comes to your house and wants to take your house away, they will not be able to. Business can grow with investments and more credibility. The cons are cost more to start, requires legal paperwork, and harder to control the ownership because there is so many other partners in the business. The cooperatives is owned by a group for mutual benefit. The pros are it benefits all members equally, so nobody is left behind. Everyone gets the same. Decisions are shared, lower costs since members work together. The cons are harder to make quick decisions because you have to include everyone to make the decision. Members might not always agree, which is going to cause conflict in the business, which we want to not happen. And profits is shared among all. So it's going to be a small amount that comes to you if you decide to go into cooperatives. So a public company, shares sold on the stock market. So the pros are can raise large amounts of money. Business can grow massively because it is public and everybody can buy into the company. Owners only risk what they invested. So if the business decides to fold or something happens, the owner of the shares that is purchased only lose what they invested. The cons are expensive and complicated to run. Shareholders influence decisions, must follow strict government rules. So they can't just do what they want to because it's public, they have to follow the government's rules. So how do you choose the right form of ownership? So 2 points are businesses choose based on the size, goals, risk, and management style. So if, let's say, Pick n Pay wants to make a new franchise, okay, they can decide to just do a sole one-person partnership. It's best to make it a public corporation because then more people can invest into the business and the business will be better, okay? And look at each form's advantages and disadvantages before deciding. So go and sit down and look at every pro and con to this before you decide which business form you want to choose. So the learner activity that we're going to do today is we are going to create a poster of 2 pros and cons of each form. give the definition of each form of ownership. Okay, so which means you will have to go and write 2 down of public company, pros, 2 cons. 2 pros, 2 cons. 2 pros, 2 cons. And also the definition is this. You have to write it down. So, if you have any questions, you can come to me and ask.